Hi, welcome back to ODE YouTube channel. Today we are here we are almost in Christmas, for day 21 of the Inkvent Calendar Black Edition, and day 21 is here on the bottom next to the snowman, and let's open it to see what we have here. We are reaching the end of this. It's kind of a purple blue color. It's called Cosmic Glow, and it has extreme sheen. So we'll see how it behaves on paper and how it will behave with the blade swatch and also with the pens. So we'll do that. I will do that next. So stay there and let's see how this Cosmic Glow will behave on paper. 1, 2, 3 droplets. Very thick ink, it seems to me. I guess this swatch will take forever to dry. That's my first thought. Beautiful dark, beautiful green, beautiful blue. I think there's another thing that I'm very incoherent, because I usually don't like blue inks to write with, but I think there are some blue inks that are beautiful, and this is one of those. It wouldn't be my first choice to write with a blue, but I think this one is beautiful, and the sheen, maybe kind of that purple, almost black sheen. Let's try to promote some ink to flow again. Sorry about that, doing this on camera, but it all makes part of the process, and I think now you can see that purplish glow or sheen, and we'll see how it will look like when it's dry, but I guess it will be an amazing one. And yes, there is a lot of sheen in this ink, as you may see. There is a nice, beautiful blue beneath, and then there is a very thick, glossy layer of this reddish, very shiny color. I think it's completely visible, and this is a video, and it's better to look at it than to spend too many words describing it. So very, very sheening ink. It really is an extreme sheen. So how will this ink compare with anything else that I have? Not very well, because I don't have anything that really compares with this. I have here 5 inks. Let's bring here 2 inks that are regular inks. One is Leonardo Ficina Italiana Blue and Leonardo Ficina Italiana Turquese Hawaii. And there is no big difference between these 2 inks. One is lighter in its lighter shading part, but both are the same kind of dark blue on the darkest part, and both have a sheen, but you can see that the sheen is very partial in some areas. It's also kind of reddish there, but you can't compare with this. So really different, and the blue is a little different also. For inks from other Inkvent calendars, I have here the Ruby Blues from 2021, and the blue is more similar, the sheen is similar, but here it's much bigger. We have from 2019 we have the blue, the Midnight Hour, it has lots of sheen, but the blue is very, very different. And from 2019, one that I remember it impressed me a lot, it is the Polar Glow, which has a brighter blue and also has some sheen. But if I had to say which color is this, I would call it the same as the Ruby Blues, or is that blue? I don't really remember and I don't completely understand my letter, but I would say this is the Ruby Blues, and I would say it is kind of the same ink but with a lot more sheen. You can see the sheen here is kind of residual in some places. The sheen here is all over the place. So this is the comparison of the ink with other inks. For the writing sample, no, sorry, this is not a writing sample, this is a chromatograph. We can see that the ink tends to stain the paper because all this area is not white, it has some blue wash, and there is also blue, very dark wash going up in the edges. So most of the color will disappear, but it will stain the paper meanwhile, and there will be a visible line because you can clearly see the line where the place where I draw the line that then the water took it away. So this line will remain visible. So let's see how this really looks on real life on paper. I brought two pens for these. Again, a Parker pen. This is, I think, it's one of the brands that I use the most for these videos. This is a Parker Vector XL, which is an interesting pen. It's made of metal. It is a modern pen, and it has a fine steel nib. Parker Vector XL, new version of the Vector. I really like it a lot more than the older Vector style. It can take cartridges or converter. It doesn't come with a converter, but I used it for this video. So, an interesting fine nib. For the other nib, I chose this Caras Customs pen. This is called Fountain K. Let me check. Yes, this is a very early model, a very early version. It has a cap made of aluminium. It has a barrel made of Delrin, and it has this section made of metal, steel, maybe, I'm not sure. It is lacquered, and it has a nib. Can I show it to you? It has a Bock nib, and it is a broad, so a B. And this, you can see the sheen there on the nib. This is a broad nib, and it is a cartridge converter pen. And I never reach for this pen a lot, but for these videos it is useful because it has a broad nib. So let's see how it looks on paper. 3 papers as usual, and let's start with Moleskine. Let's do it like this, and what can you see is that there is sheen on both pens, on both line widths, but it's obvious that the sheen on the Parker fine nib, it is only visible in the places where more ink pooled. So in some places you don't see sheen, and in other places there are little pools of sheen. When you look at the broad nib, it is almost sheen all over the place. I think this angle is good to see. You don't see it from every angle, of course. Here it looks like a very dark blue. There it looks just kind of this red thing. You can see better the real color of the ink from the fine nib. Here it looks very dark, blue-black. Here on the Oxford Optic paper, again, kind of the same behavior. There is some sheen with the Parker, lots of sheen with the Caras. The sheen is so big that you don't really see any shading. The ink looks always more saturated here on the moleskin paper, maybe because it absorbs more. They have different behaviors. This one looks coated and the ink stays on the surface. This one absorbs more ink. Anyway, there is not much bleed through here. You can see just a little spot there, another spot there, and here a little bit. On the Oxford paper, it's all perfect. There are some see-through, but not bleed-through. With Navigator 80 grams per square meter paper, it's the usual. You can't see sheen. The sheen is never visible on this paper, only the shimmer, when there is. And the ink, I think if you want to see the real color of the ink, this is the better paper, because the color beyond the sheen, you can really see it better here. There is no shading, there is no anything. It's just a regular kind of blue-black color, and with bleed through with the B nib, and also some spots with the F nib. And finally, let's see how it behaves with the Rhodia dot pad and the water resistant test. Here you can see the same behavior of sheen with the, I forgot to write here vector. You can see the same kind of sheen with the that you see with the with the Oxford paper. Let's make this right. So this is Parker Vector XL, not Parker XL. So the drying time of this ink is around 15 to 20 seconds. Not bad at all for such a high sheening ink. It could take a lot more. And about the water resistant test, you can see that the line there beneath this blue thing. So let me bring this here. You can see here this baseline line. You can see here this blob of diluted ink, and then when I put the paper towel to remove the excess water, this part came with the paper. So most of the ink is removed, but some stays still there, and I think you can retrieve what you wrote beneath a water accident. But it's not, again, water resistant ink. And now let's write with these two pens. So, with the Parker Vector XL, the Quick Brown Fox jumps over the lazy dog. This ink in some places seems to be a little bit too thick, and sometimes it looks like the pen skips a little bit. I'm not completely sure if it is my fault of the angle that I used because of the camera, but there on the jumps there is a small slight skip, and I think it's because of the density of the apparent density of the ink. That's what I feel. And now with the Caras, the Quick Brown Fox jumps over the lazy dog. And I think you can already see the sheen on the Parker, and you can also already see, although it's not completely dry, you can already see the sheen on the Cara's writing sample. So this is a very interesting pen if you like, very interesting ink if you like sheen. If you like blue ink and not red, this is not ink for you, because it will mostly look like red. But I think if you like this kind of characteristics in the ink, this is very well made. It really is very successful in what it promotes, it pretends to be, which is extreme sheen. It really is extreme sheen. So, thank you for watching. Thank you, Appelboom, for sending me this Inkvent calendar for review. And I will be back tomorrow, and we are already reaching the end of the calendar. So, see you tomorrow. Bye.